Hello there, and welcome to another one of these Lexical Lab 1 Minute English videos. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our website www.lexicallab.com to find out more about our online courses. The other day I was chatting on the phone to an old friend of mine. This is someone that I actually went to school with and grew up with. And up until March this year, he was living in Moscow. He's married to a Russian woman and he'd been living there almost 20 years. Once it became clear what was happening with Russia's war against Ukraine, he decided to leave and come back to the UK. And at the moment, his wife is still there and he's still not really sure what's happening with all of that. He's also found it slightly difficult being back here in the UK. He's struggled to find work that he's happy with, and he's been living in his brother's spare room since he arrived back. As we were chatting, he mentioned the fact that he'd be glad to see the back of this terrible year, because this year has really put him through the ringer. If something puts you through the ringer, it basically causes suffering for you. It causes difficult and unpleasant experiences to happen to you. In the old days, before most people had proper washing machines, there used to be these things called ringers, which were like two metal rolls, and you would feed the clothes, the wet clothes, through the ringer, and you'd turn the ringer, and the ringer would squeeze or wring all of the water out of the clothes. I guess in the same way, if a year puts you through the ringer, it squeezes all the emotion out of you. You might also say, for example, as my son did the other day when he came home from football training, looking completely exhausted and soaking wet. Oh, the coach, Adam, really put us through the ringer today. He made us work especially hard. We can also just say that someone has been through the ringer. So for many of my Ukrainian friends this year, they've been through the ringer over the last few months, what with the war and having to relocate and the stress of knowing that friends and family and loved ones are still back home in a war zone. If a child goes missing or disappears, obviously the parents are put through the ringer until the child turns up again safe and sound. And it's also often used to talk about really kind of like nail-biting, nerve-wracking football matches, particularly ones that your team ends up winning. So you might say something like, oh, we were 3-0 up at half-time, but then the other team pulled 2 goals back and the last 20 minutes were incredibly tense. That match really put me through the ringer. If you've enjoyed this video, please do click the like button. Make sure you share it with your friends, your students, your colleagues. And in the comment section below, we'd love to hear about times that you've been put through the ringer or times when you've been through the ringer.